Hello race fans, welcome to the Circuit Barcelona de Catalunya here for the 2024 Spanish Grand Prix. It's been a brilliant season so far, and let's see if the momentum can carry on this weekend here in cloudy Spain. And here's your practice report for the Spanish Grand Prix. And Fernando Alonso in his home Grand Prix in the top 7, Keita Watanabe though down in 15th, the Japanese driver struggling a bit around this circuit in comparison to previous seasons. Fernando Alonso up in P5 in practice 2. Very close. Carlos Sainz P2 overall. Very good day for Spaniards. And it gets even better with Fernando Alonso up in P1 at the end of practice 3. Keita Watanabe though still in 15th place. Here is the setup that Keita Watanabe will be running. Very high downforce in the front. Barcelona has a series of corners that is very challenging for the drivers. Why? It is the ideal test track for the drivers. But heading to the weekend, Toyota Racing unveil a striking one-off livery evoking the Spanish flag in promotion of, well, to celebrate Fernando Alonso himself in his home Grand Prix in a team that looks as though they could challenge for a championship. Watanabe has a special helmet that looks very similar to Sebastian Vettel's helmet in the sense that it's a white base, but with the Spanish flag along the front. Very, very classic and very, very striking, along with new race suits. So Toyota going full out to celebrate Fernando Alonso's time with the team. In terms of the pecking order, no upgrades for Toyota, but they're still second overall in the pecking order, just behind Mercedes. And we're not expecting any rain this weekend, as sunny skies throughout Spain. Here we go, through to turn 16 now, Watanabe on a flying lap, and that's striking red and orange yellow car. Watanabe down the order in 13th. He's up 2/10 on this lap on the softs, crosses the line. Where does that put him? And it puts him P14, but Fernando Alonso up in P4. Through the final corner, the sun comes out on this lap as Watanabe takes a brilliant exit through the corner on the medium tires, but still at the bottom of the pecking order, not putting up a good time. He's gone up 6/10 on this lap on the same set of medium tires. Toyota desperate to try and qualify in the mediums, up at the P8. He's in the drop zone as Watanabe, 2/10 up now on the softs, so he'll be starting this race on the soft compound tire. Where's that put him? 11th. Here he goes, through the final chicane, he goes wide, over the curb, and that's upset his entry into the final chicane, and he's gone into the gravel trap, and that's ruined his lap for sure. He's trying to recover some time, but he's 2 seconds down, there's nothing he can do, and all those trips into gravel have destroyed that set of soft compound tires. And Watanabe down in 13th, out in Q2, Fernando Alonso on the mediums, up in the top 10 shootout, and along with the two Mercs on the mediums. So Fernando Alonso's in a very good position to score a victory at his home Grand Prix, his first since 2013. Welcome race fans, it's sunny skies here in Barcelona, and it's going to be a sunny day for all those fans who have come for the Spanish Grand Prix of 2024. The Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya has been on the calendar since for most of Formula One's history, and let's see if we can add another chapter to that history this weekend. We're here for the Spanish Grand Prix around the Circuit Barcelona de Catalunya, a classic circuit, and one that, well, it's with its array of different corners, slow speed, medium speed, and high speed, the drivers will be able to do their best as the teams have all the data they need for all the testing they do around this circuit. And here we are to the starting grid for the Spanish Grand Prix, and Fernando Alonso in a very good position to score big points at his home Grand Prix, and Carlos Sainz as well in the Ferrari, looking a little better throughout these past few seasons. So what can he do this weekend, and what can Keita Watanabe do? His tires are shot, as the tires, well, actually, no, he can start in the mediums too. What can he do? Can he put up a good recovery drive from the back? We'll see with that striking livery. They say if a car looks good, it's fast. Let's see what it can do. And here's a starting grid for the 2024 Spanish Grand Prix. It's Valtteri Bottas on pole position and Lewis Hamilton in P2. It's Mercedes front row lockout. Bottas on flying form these past few races. Then it's Fernando Alonso third with Max Verstappen fourth. Lando Norris 5th and Charles Leclerc 6th overall. Then it's Sainz 7th, Sergio Perez 8th, Gasly 9th, and Lance Stroll from McLaren in 10th. Then it's Christian Lundgaard 11th, Keita Watanabe he gets promoted to 12th with Callum Ilott 13th and George Russell 14th, Vettel 15th, Latifi 16th, Ocon 17th, and Yuki Tsunoda down in 18th place. Then it's Zhou Guanyu 19th, Marino Sato 20th, Antonio Giovinazzi down the grid of a grid penalty, and Nikita Mazepin completes our grid. Our grid is secure. Let's see what this race has to offer this weekend. I'm excited. Are you as well? Let's see what the cars can deliver. 5 red lights. The drivers are raring to go. Foot to the floor, it's lights off, and away we go. It's a brilliant start for Fernando Alonso. He's closing in on the Mercedes. It's a great start from Kato Watanabe, but he's contesting Lance Stroll into turn 1. Here we go. It's 3 wide between a Red Bull Ferrari and an AlphaTauri. Watanabe going to see if he can super on the outside of Lance Stroll, but he can't. He gets upset on the curb. Perez tries to squeeze Gasly out, and around the outside, Watanabe is going to go, but he goes very wide onto the AstroTurf, and that's going to ruin his run. He gets off the throttle. Into turn 4 we go. Around the outside again of the Papaya car on the yellow and gold Spanish livery Toyota, but Watanabe's gonna have to wait a little bit, but no, he's not. He's gonna dive down the inside into turn 5, and Lance Stroll's gonna give up the place, and that was stupendous racing on the opening lap. Watanabe seizes the place. Christian Lundgaard and Lance Stroll are left to bicker it out, and he's closing in on Pierre Gasly, heading towards the blind right corner of turn 9, down the straight, into turn 10 we go. Deploying tons of batteries, Watanabe. Gasly's being hampered by the train ahead. Watanabe dives on the inside, sees an opening, applies some throttle, squeezes Gasly out, and is up into the top 10, and that is a brilliant move, although a collision warning between him and the AlphaTauri. Let's get the race start again. You can see Watanabe's a brilliant start. Christian Lundgaard gets tons of wheel spin off the line in his Alpine, and he's side by side with Lance Stroll. Stroll gets a decent start as well. It's 3 wide ahead, so there's nowhere really that Stroll can dive to gain an advantage in the braking zone. Watanabe tries to go wide on the outside, but he gets a little spooked by Lance Stroll trying to take the racing line into turn 5. You can see just how much curb Watanabe takes, and he squeezes Lance Stroll slightly out, and you can see that little deviation from the racing line has left Stroll vulnerable to Christian Lundgaard. The medium tire is the preferred race tire around Spain, as the abrasive surface causes much tire wear for our drivers. Let's see the move into turn 10 here. Yeah, you can see he applies a little bit of throttle. He misses the apex completely. So there might be an argument for AlphaTauri to argue the move on team radio is, they're a little aggressive, and Christian Lundgaard takes the position, really exploiting Watanabe's moves. Down the start-finish straight we go, powering behind Perez, and that's the fastest lap for Watanabe, and that's going to be very promising for his chances this weekend. Closing up the Sergio Perez now. DRS wide open as they power down the straight. He's in the slipstream. Can he get the move done on the Red Bull driver? We'll have to wait and see. Down the start-finish straight we go into turn 1. Perez defends the inside, but Watanabe doesn't care. Huge dive for the driver. Goes through turn 2, and that is move done and dusted. And he's closing in on another Spaniard, Carlos Sainz. And many drivers are pitting off the soft, so you can see just how quickly the soft tires degrade on this track, and Watanabe is going to get promoted up the grid. Carlos Sainz stays out another lap as his teammate Charles Leclerc is in the pit lane. And let's see what can Watanabe do. DRS down on the inside. There's a lockup from the Spaniard, Carlos Sainz, and Watanabe seizes the opportunity. You can see right here, down into the turn 1. Yeah, the right front tire locks up, and that's definitely going to degrade the tire life. Oh, and that's a big spin from Sebastian Vettel, and it's a big collision with an AlphaTauri. Vettel's on the track, and oh, it's a humongous collision with another AlphaTauri. Pierre Gasly, I think that was, collides into the stricken Sebastian Vettel. That is huge contact. We'll wait to see if confirmation the drivers are okay after a huge shunt, and the safety car undeniably is out as there is a carbon fiber strewn all over the circuit, and Bottas is going to pit off his medium compound tire, so that's going to put him in a brilliant position for the rest of this race. Is Alonso going to pit as well? Is he going to try and match or go against and get track position? No, Alonso's in, and that screws Watanabe over as he's going to have to stay out and inherit the lead as there's nothing he can do. Because the double stack, Toyota figured they would lose too much time. But that is a supreme and terrible collision. Let's look at the replay. You can see Sebastian Vettel just goes onto the AstroTurf and loses it on the dust. And you can see it spins out, and he just clips the AlphaTauri of Antonio Giovinazzi. And Pierre Gasly, what was he doing? He nearly flips over Sebastian Vettel in the Aston Martin. And that is a huge error from the 4-time world champion. And that is a huge collision for Vettel. We're getting word now that Sebastian Vettel is okay, but he is being taken to the local hospital for precautionary check after a huge shunt, along with Antonio Giovinazzi, who, as you can see, clips him. And you can see just the tire on the string is upsetting the car. It's going under the car, unsettling it. He's lucky he stayed upright. And the gravel trap did its job, slowing down the speed that Giovinazzi was heading towards that concrete barrier. But one man who's going to have to go to a hospital for sure is Pierre Gasly. That is huge contact, shearing off and nearly flipping over Sebastian Vettel. And Max Verstappen also gets caught up with his front wing. And Watanabe enters the pit lane at the end of the lap. So he is going to pit under the safety car as well, but that's going to severely hamper him as the field is bunched up now. And so he's going to definitely be towards the back of the grid as he's going to pit. But the free pit stop will be worth it. If he pits onto a set of hard compound tires, he can maybe take it to the end of the Grand Prix. Good stuff from the boys and girls down at Toyota Racing. A 1.9 second pit stop. And Watanabe fields out into 12th. So considering how bunched up the field has become, that's not a bad pit stop. And with the free pit stop, he can surely regain those places back on the other drivers. Safety car in this lap. He's trying to pressure Callum Ilott in the Alpine. Through the left-right chicane we go. And the Alpine gets a better exit. Watanabe's not gotten those hard compound tires warmed up. He's got a little bit of oversteer through the end of the corner with no grip through the zone. And there we go. Ilott on the soft compound tires extends the gap, and Watanabe is going to have to really fight for those positions. But surely, with the pace that Toyota has shown all weekend, he can surely get by at least one Alpine and a Williams. Now on the start-finish straight we go. And here goes Callum Ilott. He's closing in on George Russell. What is the two Brits going to do here? This is going to invite Kato Watanabe back into the fight as Watanabe sees the chance to make a move. Ilott down the outside around George Russell in the Williams. And now here goes Kato Watanabe. He's closing in on the Williams driver. What can he do? Down the inside. He's got better grip now. That's crazy stuff as Max Verstappen gets a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision with Pierre Gasly. And Kato Watanabe down the inside of George Russell takes the place. And that is supreme confidence from the Japanese driver. Closing in on Callum Ilott as Lance Stroll pits on this lap. DRS and ERS deployed. Down the start from the straight we go. Ilott's a sitting duck on the straight with no DRS. And Ilott pits. So Watanabe is going to inherit the position from everyone else pitting as Bottas pits, but onto another set of medium compound tires. So he's going to be extremely rapid compared to Watanabe on his hard compound. And more drivers pit. Watanabe is probably going to be closer to the lead of this Grand Prix, but Valtteri Bottas on those medium tires is absolutely flying, and Watanabe is not putting up the lap time. Perez, Sainz pits, so Watanabe inherits the lead, but Bottas absolutely flying, 1.1 seconds behind, and Watanabe is not matching his lap times, so he's going to be vulnerable within probably a lap or two to the fast Mercedes. Down towards turn 10 we go. Down this short DRS straight. Bottas around the outside on the medium compound tires. Watanabe is going to try and contend. Down the inside. He breaks a lot later than the Finn. Throughout the corner. Through the little, into the third sector we go. And Bottas is still keeping a nose in. Here we go. Towards turn 14, 13. Now, around the outside goes Watanabe. Holds the place through the left-right chicane. However, he's not... Valtteri Bottas is so close. And he's got so much pace. And so the length of this straight, surely at the DRS, he's going to get the move done. Watanabe tries to weave down the straight. And he's got to stop now as Bottas is side by side with the Toyota. And that's an easy move for the Mercedes driver. Valtteri Bottas retakes the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix, but Watanabe now surely is going to be vulnerable to all those behind on the mediums. And that's Zhou Guanyu out of the session of another retirement for the Haas driver. Let's look at the replay. He goes heading towards turn 9, and yeah, that's the engine just blows up. Tons of smoke from the back of that Haas. And even though they claim that they'd be saving up for the coming seasons, Haas has not shown any improvements, and it doesn't seem to be improving anymore for the Chinese driver.
Joe, I'm afraid we have a technical issue. We have the box. I'm afraid.
Are you kidding me? Again.
Not happy is Zhou Guanyu. Through turn 9 we go, and he's got no grip on those hard compound tires. Those tires look so good. And in China, a similar circuit of high tire degradation. Watanabe is being pressured by Lewis Hamilton, squeezes them out as he loses the rear end, trying to get the better exit. Through the turn, he loses the rear end again, and that's allowed his teammate Fernando Alonso to come through. Was that a little bit of gamesmanship? Was that some team strategy in play to allow the faster car through? Let's get the replay to see Hamilton is pressuring. Alonso has not been able to get by the Mercedes, but you can see Watanabe. He just gets a little bit too early on the power, and that's not as much oversteer as it looked from the T-cam. However, that was definitely oversteer through that through the third sector there. And Hamilton around the outside he goes, and you can see, yeah, he just gets pushed wide, and then allows Alonso to sneak on through.
That's unbelievable.
Hamilton's not impressed. He definitely thinks that that was some planned gamesmanship from Toyota Racing, and you can see, yeah, Alonso, that move is just made so much easier for the Spaniard. And now, with that little bit of a catch, Alonso is up into P2, the pressure Bottas. And Watanabe, it looks like a 2-3, but he's lost the grip through the exit of the chicane. He's into the gravel a little bit, and Hamilton's going to be supremely fast as Watanabe weaves down the straight, trying to break the toe. Well, Hamilton has got supreme pace on those medium compound tires. He wants some revenge from what he believes was a team tactical move, and he's made it up the podium. Watanabe trying to pressure Hamilton, but unfortunately there's no real place to overtake through these final two corners as Valtteri Bottas wins the Spanish Grand Prix, and that's another win to his total this season. Fernando Alonso takes a season best P2 at his home Grand Prix. The home fans will be surely adoring that. Lewis Hamilton takes P3, but Kato Watanabe, although losing out on the podium, puts up a spectacular recovery drive and taking advantage of the safety car. But Valtteri Bottas will extend his championship lead at the top of the table, and Fernando Alonso another podium for his season at Toyota Racing, and he's been exceptional form for the Toyota team. Kato Watanabe in P4, and has a brilliant result for him. And as we remember, that huge contact, and thankfully all the drivers in that collision were okay. Now, Fernando Alonso takes P4, Kato Watanabe up to P6, and Valtteri Bottas still has a surmountable lead in the Drivers' Championship as Toyota Racing still retain their third in the Constructors. It's been a brilliant Spanish Grand Prix as we head now to the jewel on the Formula 1 calendar, the Monaco Grand Prix, and hopefully you can join us all then for what is no doubt going to be a classic race. But until then, that's it from us, and we'll see you next time.